Hey minions, welcome to Crank It Up. This is the Postmortem for Game 30, the second game of the Final Four, featuring Cyborg 8 Musketeers versus Giant Ant Pirates. It was a really close matchup, but Cyborg 8 Musketeers prevailed, winning in 3 games. And what's significant about this is that they won games 2 and 3, which is something that we haven't seen as much in this tournament. That means that they came back from a round 1 loss to win both games in succession and advance to the final rounds. I didn't really want Giant Ants to be going into the finals from a personal standpoint. Obviously, if they did, we would respect that. But the fact that they kept going infinite and avoided, the majority of good counters that would be going against them started to feel a little old and like a little bit of a one-trick pony. And after they beat Killer Plant Truckers, I remember telling the group, I'm not too worried about it because Cyborg 8 Musketeers are going to wipe the floor with them. And then a couple hours later, they tell us Giant Ants won Game 1 by a score of infinite to 16. Musketeers had enough points to win the game, but they still ended up losing because of the fact that, it was infinite to 16. The game doesn't end immediately once someone gets to 16. It continues for the rest of the round, which is how the infinite score can happen in the first place. So, now I'm up against a wall because I'm playing Game 2 and unexpectedly playing to keep the Cyborg 8 Musketeers alive. Those scores of Game 2 and 3 are very interesting because they're 16 to 8 and 20 to 7. Both of those games look like blowouts. But next turn, Giant Ant Pirates win by a considerable margin. Not necessarily infinite, but still considerable. That's the power that they have. Literally every turn mattered. If I had done one thing slightly differently, if I hadn't been as fast as I was able to be, then Cyborg 8 Musketeers go home and Giant Ant Pirates win, because I only needed to win one of those 2 matches, and they were in the exact same position. Like every matchup that I play, it's important to come up with a game plan. What's the game plan for facing Giant Ant Pirates? Well, before Game 1, I would have said it's just do your thing normal, be as fast as possible, and you should have no problem with them. But clearly that didn't work out. So what's the new game plan? Okay, what makes them go infinite? It's the first mates. They have 4 of them. They have no card draw. I have card draw. And when I say they have no card draw, I know about removing the counters to draw cards. Even though that happened to me in Game 3, that's the first time we had really seen that. So I have better card draw. I should play better. I should play faster, but I have to worry about infinite. But he can't go infinite without the first mates. I can kill one with Monkey on Your Back. But that's only one. What about the others? Well, the entire time, I was prepared to use Token of Affection to replay Monkey on Your Back. In other words, I would play Monkey on Your Back to destroy a minion, and then next turn, if needed to, I would play Token of Affection to get it back, because it goes on the bottom of your deck, even though Token of Affection can get it from the discard pile, and I'd play it again. And then I would play Monkey See, Monkey Do to shuffle it and have a chance to draw 3. If I draw it again, I'm pretty confident that I'll end up winning because he can't survive the loss of 3 first mates unless he just happened to miraculously get a great draw. Particularly if I could get it to destroy a first mate with some counters transferred to it, because I can destroy up to a minion of power 4. If he gets his action that will protect against the power counter destruction, then all bets are off. I'm going to have to play the normal way. So I was fully prepared to go the Monkey on Your Back route. And that's not where the game dictated at all. And so it went back to plan A. So play as fast as possible. And these games reminded me of just how crazy they can be if everything goes according to plan. Rockstar Ghosts had it in, their round 3 against Mad Scientist Cats, where they went 15-4. Everything went their way. In some respects, in these games, everything went the Cyborg 8 Musketeer way. To be able to play all for one 4 times is crazy. But Clyde 2.0, they are so good if you can get the right cards at the right time. The key to Cyborg 8 Musketeers is differentiating between what you can recur and what you cannot. The Musketeers, they have 5 actions that directly affect power, the 2 on guards, the 2 one-for-alls, and biding time. But you can't necessarily recur those. You can with Token of Affection, but that's not really the best thing that you want to do. Usually you'll use that to get a juiced up or a flying monkey, or to search for an all for one, or to play a card from the discard pile that is one of those ones. Because you can get it back with Clyde, and then you can reuse it with Cyberback. So you have to be very economical, but Clyde 2.0 lets you be really wasteful with those actions because you're going to get them back. With Clyde 2.0 on one base, it's very hard for Giant Ant Pirates to destroy their minions. They have Powder Keg, but once that Powder Keg threat is removed, the best thing they can do is move them, which isn't really the worst thing in the world, especially if I'm going to be doing a Flying Monkey play back into Clyde 2.0. You may actually be doing me a favor in some respects in that regard. But being able to play Aramis and a double Cyber Evolution, that's 10 power. Matching that with Clyde 2.0, I get both those actions back into my hand. If I mix in all for one, that's even more power. I'm not going to try and do that math in my head because I can't. They're a very mathy combination. But they still have that explosive potential, and they're going to need it because they have to play as quickly as possible. Think about it this way. I played lightning fast. We're talking about not a lot of turns on these games. Solo bases everywhere, whenever I can, whether it's a 4 or a 3. If I can take the base solo, I'm going to do that. At one point, I believe I was up 7-0 in game 3. It's really hard to say, I'm winning 7-0 and I think I'm going to lose. But my heart was racing the entire time during game 3 because you just can't put them down. You can't give them any bit of time. Yes, the game ends 20-7, but next turn they're winning. I was very happy to see Portal Room come out because Portal Room is fantastic with Flying Monkey. Usually that's a base you want to break with Cyberback, but that's not how the game unfolded. The reason why Portal Room is so great is because if you can get 2 bases with Portal Room, then you get a chance to do it again with Cyberback the next time. Or if Cyberback is the one that's doing it, then you can get 3 bases because he can just reapply Flying Monkey and keep going. He can even reapply all for one in that situation, and he would still have juiced up and still potentially any other Cyber Evolutions or any one of the persistent actions that you put on him before. Being able to break 4 bases in 2 turns is really awesome. It's definitely not the record held by Giant Ant Pirates, but it's really funny to me and somewhat ironic that you're using the multi-base attack against the team that got here on the strength of it. And they don't care about the score. There are ways that they can get points by using Full Sail to move a minion on. They can move all their minions off with Full Sail to keep their engines in play and not lose any counters. Giant Ant Pirates, in this particular matchup, I don't think they care about the score. Because once they're down, the only way that they're going to claw back is breaking multiple bases at the same time, and if they can do multiple bases at the same time, they can probably do them all, which makes you wonder why they bother with points in the first place. That's why it doesn't surprise me that they went infinite in the first game, despite winning infinite to 16, which would ordinarily be a losing score, but because it's infinite, it's clearly not. Cybergate Musketeers, they need to execute their game plan well against this team. They need to draw their cards in the right order. It's fortunate that they did. Clyde 2.0 with the Musketeer actions, that's not really going to do anything. Clyde 2.0 with the Cyborg Ape actions or with All for One, that's an entirely different story, and that's what carried them. It's why Clyde 2.0 is the MVP of Game 3, because you just get to use the same actions over and over again. If they could do that in the finals, then they're going to have some very quick victories, but they have an incredibly different opponent in Rockstar Ghosts. Both of them have extreme burst potential. Both of them have 0 to breakpoint strategies. Just like Rockstar Ghosts, went toe-to-toe with Itty Critters for their 0 to burst, now Cybergate Musketeers are going to have to do the same thing. The difference is they have the 2 base scoring potential versus the VP farming potential of Rockstar Ghosts. This is going to be an incredibly tense matchup between the 2 teams. Both teams deserve to be there. They did their hard work. They beat a lot of tough opponents, and it's going to be really exciting. I hope that you'll check out the games tomorrow. Please do not give any spoilers because people will be watching them. You need to be different. You need to be aware of the time difference because these games are being watched by people all over the world, so be considerate. And I'm just really excited to see the finals and to see people's reactions. I think that they did a great job, the team overall. Really excited by the live commentary about it. And I'm not going to say anything else. You'll just see it tomorrow. There won't be a postmortem from me. We'll be doing a group postmortem instead, focusing on the finals and some things that occurred over the tournament, some surprises, some things that we liked about it. And I think that'll be a great way to close out March Smashness for the year 2020. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. Let's shut it down.